Yeah, we're not even gonna get to that because all you rapist apologists that's out here watching, your friend is a rapist and you need to check your friend.
Yes.
Hey guys, my name is Jumi and you're tuned into As Told by Jumi. I have a very special guest with me here today. This is my friend.
Hi, my name is AngelaJoy. I'm so glad to be here.
So today we're going to talk about a very important topic. I was on Twitter the other day and I was seeing all this trend that was going on. It was basically women tweeting about their age of when they were sexually assaulted or raped or whatever. And it was just like women were quoting it with whatever age they were assaulted. And it was just a very terrible thing to see, and it made me really sad that a lot of women can relate on something so horrible. So I just wanted to make a video today to talk about it and to bring awareness to it, because if you watched my last video, the main goal of this channel was to talk about things. And this is one of the things that needs to be talked about, no matter how uncomfortable it is. We still need to talk about it because it's very important. So I brought my friend here with me today because we are both victims of sexual assault. So we're just going to talk about our experience and just to bring comfort to people out there who are or were sexually assaulted, to let them know that it's okay and it's never your fault. So yeah, before we get into the video, I'm just going to read off the definition of what sexual assault is, because I think a lot of people get it confused. So on Google it says sexual assault is an act in which a person intentionally sexually touches another person without that person's consent, or coerces or physically forces a person to engage in a sexual act against their will. So rape is not, it's a form of sexual assault. Like, can I touch your boobs? Yeah. Okay, so me touching her boobs without asking her, that's sexual assault because I physically assaulted her without her consent. Obviously I asked for it, so that wasn't sexual assault. But if I did it and I just grabbed it like that, that's sexual assault. So if you were just touched inappropriately in a sexual way, that's a form of sexual assault. So rape also falls under sexual assault. So I just wanted to clarify that for people. Rape is a type of sexual assault. It's usually involving sexual intercourse or any other form of sexual penetration carried out against another person without that person's consent. So now that that's out there, I just want us to, get into our stories, and so we're just gonna talk about our personal experience. And yeah, would you like to go first?
Sure. Again, I said my name is AngelaJoy. I think that it's, I actually just started becoming comfortable talking about it because I think the reason why I kept it to myself for so long, I have confided in friends because I needed an outlet, because I really couldn't reach out to like my family. It's just not an easy conversation to facilitate with like family members. But just speaking out on it on social media and just letting women know that they're not alone. My experience has been a lot of sexual assault, but I've also been raped before. I would say 3 times in my life. And so I was first assaulted when I was like 4 years old, and it was like a continuous thing with different people until I was about 22. So it's kind of tough because sometimes you don't really realize how wrong something is until it kind of dawns on you and you're thinking about it. When you start talking about it, you're like, that's not,
like, that really happened.
It was really messed up. And so like I'll never forget, there was a time in college when I went to see someone. There's a guy that I was into, and I went to go see him, and that was my first time meeting him. We had been talking on social media and stuff. And so when I got to the school, my intention wasn't to because I wasn't as sexually active at the time. So it was like I was genuinely interested in this guy. I'm like, okay, he's paying for me to come to his school and stay with him for the weekend, And I had no intentions of having sex with him whatsoever. But I think something that men tend to fail to realize is that coercion is also, you know, a form of assault. Like, if someone says no and you keep asking and begging, like, it's not okay. I'm not sure what goes through people's minds when they do that, when you have to, you know, verbally and physically force someone to do something they don't want to do. And if they give in, but okay, fine, like, how does that even really make you feel, you know? So, like, I think I experienced that, and I told my friend, like, after, because that night we were just chilling, cuddling, and he's like, oh, like, you know, let's just, he kept asking, I was like, no, I'm good, I don't want to keep doing this right now, or I'm like, I don't want to do this right now, and I just want to go to sleep. And, you know, he was like, no, come on, this, that, and the third. And I had actually fallen asleep, and then, like, he kind of, he woke me up, like I woke up as he was, like, you know, taking, like, my pants off, right? So he's taking my pants off, and, like, that's how I woke up, and I woke up to, like, getting, like, head, and I'm like, okay. Like, it was kind of an awkward situation, because I've been in things like that before, long before I got to college. But as a woman, when I was younger, what would go through my head is, like, I'm not sure if this is someone that I would want to, like, pick a fight with, because what if I try to refuse and he starts, like, beating the shit out of me, excuse my language, like, you know, what if I'm just like, let me you know, try to defend myself. It was kind of hard. But this is also, I think sometimes women, they don't talk about these experiences because they would have sex with the guy again after it happened, so they start to blame themselves, like, I can't talk about it because I kept having sex with him anyways. Like, no, it's wrong, you know. There's a thing called and it's just, you keep going back, and, like, sometimes people don't speak up because they're gonna get blamed, like, oh, obviously you like this since you went back again. I've definitely heard that a lot in my lifetime. Like, you know, if you didn't like it, even from, like, I've heard it from people that were supposed to protect me, that would say, oh, if you why didn't you speak up on it clearly, obviously you enjoyed yourself, type of stuff. Like, it's happened a lot. So I think I remember calling my friend the morning after my encounter with the guy, because I was on his campus for the rest of the weekend, so I was just
couldn't really leave.
Exactly. So, like, you know, I called my friend, and I was like, yeah, like, I told him I didn't want to, but we just ended up having sex anyways. And she was like, and I explained the situation to her, like, how he kind of, like, you know, I woke up from him, like, taking my pants off and trying to give me head. And she's like, Angela, you know that's not okay, right? I was like, oh. I was like, you know, I guess, whatever, we don't have to talk about it. I just had to change the subject, you know, because I was a bit embarrassed. Like, sometimes I think, like, why couldn't I done more to help myself? But it's like, why do men have to do that? You know, or women who are also assault, like, you know, also assault people. But it's just like, why do people choose to, you know, take that away from people? So yeah, that was, like, one of my experiences, and just kind of like a brief timeline of how long I've been dealing with it.
Well, mine happened after. So before I came, like, my previous video, you guys know I was raised in England. So before I came to America, I had to go to Nigeria to, while my mom was, like, figuring out my papers and stuff like that. So I had to go to Nigeria and stay there. So I was staying in my grandmother's house. That's the house we all grew up. When I say all, I mean, like, my cousins, my siblings, we all grew up in my grandmother's house. And yeah, so my mom was back here and, like, just figuring out, you know, how it works, the whole, like, you know, documentation stuff. So I was in Nigeria and stuff like that. And, like, I hated Nigeria so much because, like, I was so accustomed to, you know, living in England, and, like, little stuff like, you know, a washing machine, like, they didn't have it. It was just like, so I would literally cry every day and tell my mom, like, I want to go home, I don't want to be here, So it happened to me 3 times. I was sexually assaulted 3 times when I was in Nigeria. I was 13 years old. The first time was, there was this man, he was like a family friend, he has money, he had like a hotel, and he had like a gas. So when I first came, everyone, like, they treated me like I was like a princess. You know how they treat you from abroad? Like, you know, you have all this, they all assume you have money, you came from money, So my auntie would send me and my cousins to, like, go over there and just to be like, oh, this is our cousin, she just came from abroad, like, give us money, type stuff. So she basically, I guess, pimped us out to just, you know, go over there and try to, like, you know, get some money for him. Like, he would give us money. Because, you know, he got money like that, and he knew my grandmother, he knew everybody. He was a family friend. So we went over there. It was nighttime, but you know it's Nigeria. Like everything is still, people are still out. Everything is still alive. So we walked over there, and my cousin's like, oh yeah, this is Jumoke and stuff like that. She just came. He said my mom's name. She's blah blah blah's daughter. He was like, oh how are you? And he was like, oh, come and give me a hug. So I just like knelt down and I was like, hi. So like they were talking and stuff like that. He was talking, and like as he was talking, his arm was right here, like below my boobs. Really? Yes. And he was like, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, girl.
And he was just like this, and I didn't know what to do. Like I just froze, like I froze, like I couldn't even move his hand, like, and I was just like, is this happening while like no one really saw it, because his hand was like, people just think he's like embracing me, but he was actually doing this to my boobs, and I was just like,
God,
I was like, yes, I was like this scared little girl, and I didn't know what to do, and this is a man of power and stuff like that. And so that happened. We left that night. I didn't tell my cousins. They all thought he gave us money, like that was. So we all went back home. I didn't tell nobody until I actually didn't tell anybody in Nigeria what happened until the second time it happened, and it was my so-called uncle. We were home with my cousin. I was outside with my cousin, and I think we were like just playing outside. So he called me. And he was trying to talk to me or something. I don't remember what he was trying to talk to me about. Then he was just like, "Oh, give me a kiss," and I was like,
"Oh no!"
I was 13. Like, I was staying in Nigeria for a year, and I was like, "No, what the hell?" Then I ran to my grandmother's room and I locked the door and I called my brother who was here, and I told him what happened, and I was crying. I was like, "Yeah, he just tried to kiss me." So my brother called one of my aunties, one of my aunties in London, and she called my auntie that was in Nigeria, and she was going off. She was like, "Why would he touch her?" Then so I was crying. So they saw that I was crying. So they all thought I was just crying because I want to go home. I didn't want to be here. So I didn't tell them. I was like, nothing's wrong. So they just all assumed I was crying, and I didn't tell them like he did that to me. So after my aunt that was in London called my aunt that was in Nigeria, she called me to the room. She was like, did he touch you? I don't want to say anything. She's like, did he touch you? Did he try to like force you? I was like, no. And I was just like, does it take for that for me? Like they just made it seem like I was delusional and I was making all this thing up. So like they were all talking about it between the family. They didn't tell my mom, they didn't tell my grandmother, because they know if my mom found out, she would basically kill him. Like that's my mom's little brother. She would kill him. So my brother knew, and I don't know who else he told. So they all called my aunt. She called me to the room and she was like saying, why would you tell them? Do you want to ruin this family? Like she literally said, do you want to ruin me? A 13-year-old girl wants to ruin this family. And then there's a whole assaulter in the next room, and it's me that wanted to ruin the family. Like if your mom finds out,
So just a bunch of invalidations.
Exactly, and it made me seem like, what's that word? They were gaslighting me, basically making it seem like I was crazy and I was making this up, and I was just like, why would I make that up? And I remember like even one of my aunties said it, and they were like, that's it. So that just died down. No one talked about it again. Then then it was okay. So when there was this one time I was sleeping and I would always feel something run across my chest. I thought it was like a fly or something. I just felt it, like, but I never really woke up because I thought it was just Nigeria and the bugs. So I just thought it was something. So one day, like, I felt like it was. You know how like when something happens to you in your sleep, but you don't remember, but you remember something happened. Yeah. So I kind of like it happened like twice. I would feel something across my chest, and like one night the same thing happened. But then I actually woke up this time and I saw like, I guess my cousin, he was like masturbating. So he was like grabbing my boobs.
As he's...
Yes. And like I kind of turned around, so I made it seem like I was just turning my sleep. And I was so scared. Oh my gosh. I was so scared because I was like, what? Like this has been happening how many days? Like this is even me, like what are the days I was just like in deep sleep. I don't even like remember what happened. And I felt like he was grabbing my boobs, and when I turned, like you could like see him, like he was like kind of touching himself, and I just turned away, and it was just like,
It was really,
it was
so
really
sorry.
Okay, yeah, so that was what happened, guys, and I keep telling myself to this day, I feel like if I was in Nigeria any longer, I probably would have been raped because of those situations that happened. And it was just like, come to find out, like the first man, we also had this family friend, and she told me like he actually did rape her because he seems like he's like this, he has like this, you know, this act that he's like a savior, he's here to help struggling people. So like I guess she went over to him, and I don't know what she asked for, maybe it was money too, and he basically said she had to sleep with him to get money to help her. And like he does that with a lot of young girls who are actually struggling. And yeah, so he told me like she told me like she was raped as well when she was even way younger. And like I couldn't even tell her that because like it was just like my story wasn't as big as hers, and like I felt like I can't even relate because it's just like, oh, I was simply touched, and it's just like, okay. And it was just like I know like he probably had done that to a lot of girls, like he probably pressured them like, oh, if you want money you had to have it. And he's just an ugly fat old man, so you could only imagine. So yeah, and like same thing with my uncle, like come to find out like years later he actually did rape someone in the family. And it came to like what happened, like my mom found out about what happened to me, and she was like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, I wanted to tell you, but the family said I was gonna ruin the family, so I didn't say anything. They told like wow. My brother told my brother told her what happened, like yeah, she called me as soon as it happened. Like everyone else knew but her and my grandmother. And it was just like, if y'all would have taken me seriously, maybe what happened to the person in the family wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have went that far because they would know what type of person he was.
Exactly.
And it just like it just escalated, and it's just like to this day, like it breaks for me like that even had to happen, because like if people were listening to me and not actually victimize me and say, you know, it was my fault, or like, you know, like I let this happen, it wouldn't have happened to that other person. So it's just really crazy to think, you know, all that stuff happened. So when like my papers were done and my mom came to pick me up, I was so happy to leave that place. Like that's why I told you, like I really, all my heart, I hate Nigeria. I hate Nigeria, not because of the country, even though as messed up as it is, it's just because of what all those things that happened to me. And it's just like, I don't have any good memories of that place, because when I was little, I barely remember, like I don't have any fond memories of that place. I went to England, so, and to go back and that's the memories I have. I always like hate Nigeria. Like I have no business going back there. Like the only reason I went back in 2017 was for my mom's 50th birthday. That's the picture she said. That's the only reason. Apart from that, I'm not ever going back to that country. Only if like, I don't know, my siblings want to get married or something. Apart from that, I don't have any business there. So yeah, that was just my story, and it scares me, because just like I know for a fact, I know like if I was there any longer, I don't know how I would be like today, or like, you know, who I just know for a fact. Because even like as simple as, you know, going down the street, like I'm getting called, I'm just like, I'm 13, like that's weird. And these grown ass men be calling me, especially because I was from England too, so they all just felt like I was like fresh meat and stuff. And they knew who my siblings were before, after they left and stuff like that. So like a lot of people knew of me, and it was just like really scary to think like all those things happened, and I know they could have, you know, escalated and stuff like that.
And it's crazy because like a lot of like survivors of these things are usually, when it happened to them, it's people that they actually know. And it's always like, you know, it starts at home, and like, cause I know when I had first been like sexually assaulted, I was 4 years old. And I know cause so my kind of like beginning timeline was like, I didn't live with my parents for about 5 years, because like my parents came to Chicago, because I'm originally from Chicago, and they came to Chicago with my little brother. My little brother was like 2 months old or something.
That's exactly what happened to me. Like that's why I went to England with my dad, to give the younger one a better opportunity. So they picked me out of all the kids to go with them. I think that's the same thing with your brother. And like the kids back home were just at home.
They left me. Bro, like going through it, like it was me and my 2 older brothers. We were left at home, but like we were like kind of like home hopping with relatives. Like we had to live with different kinds of relatives, and each relative was just like horrible. And each like home that we stayed in, like I always had like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. This is gonna really annoy me when I'm editing. Oh my god.
yeah, so like when I lived in different homes and stuff with different relatives, like each relative there was like a family friend that lived by us that was just that would do those things to me, you know, and I never told my parents, never told anyone until like, you know, much older and stuff like that. And it happened consistently from like the age 5 to 8. And then when I moved, when my parents finally got money to bring me and my 2 older brothers here, but it continued in America. So it's just like, it was very, it's something that like when you go through it so much, you kind of get like numb. Yeah. And like you just kind of get used to it, and that's not healthy at all. I'm 23 years old today. Like I just started therapy like almost 2 years ago. Huh?
It's your birthday?
No.
Oh, you said today.
I said today. I'm sorry. I'm 23 years old, like as of right now. My birthday is January 30th. Okay. But yeah, so I am just now this old and just now trying to heal from all those things. And I think it's really important that we really try our hardest. And I know it's hard, it's not something to easily get through, but like if you can, you know, start therapy, start talking to someone if you've never talked about it before. I think for me, because I know as much as I've been through, I haven't really gone much in detail, but like it's been severe, it's been very heavy, and as much as I've been through, I always think about it as like, you know, someday I would like to get married, right? And I would like to have kids and stuff, and you know, some of these traumatic experiences can really pour into your parents' skills, and so that's why I'm like, I need to heal right now.
Yeah, so you can be a better mother for your kids. Exactly. And for yourself. So.
Exactly, because I wish, you know, a lot of times like my mom was there for me the way I needed her to be there for me when I went through this stuff.
To this day?
She does. She definitely does. I had to like have a conversation. And a lot of times those parents do it, and I know my parents will probably blame themselves because like, damn, if they never left us there, like, you know, those things never would have happened, because those 5 years, it wasn't just sexual assault, it was like, you know, we were getting hit, like we were getting beaten, they weren't feeding us, so it was a bunch of like different things
like
happening.
Your parents would send you money and they probably
using it on their kids.
Exactly what my aunt did. My mom would always send me all these goods and stuff like that, and she would like, don't make me feel bad for not sharing.
Bro, we wouldn't even know when we got the stuff at all. Like they would literally like use it on their kids. I was wearing my brother's clothes. Like we weren't eating for 2-3 days. Like it was a very like severe.
That's just evil.
It's hell. Like I don't know, but it's just. I mean, I've forgiven everyone who's ever wronged me, and you know.
But that's, you forgive for yourself, not for them, because in order for you to be able to heal and move on, you have to. Because it's like they deserve forgiveness for real, because they could get that from God, but it's just for your mental health and for yourself, you have to be able to forgive them and move on.
Exactly.
But, so I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I wanted to transition to the next part of our discussion. So I wanted to bring up, because we're both Nigerian, I'm Yoruba, she's Igbo, and a lot of times I feel like our parents kind of play into the whole stigma of sexual assault, how like, you know, the victim blaming thing, they play a lot into that, because at a very young age we're sexualized. We're taught to always, you know, cover up when we have visitors around, or to not play with boys. And it's just like, I want a lot of African parents, if you are watching this video, or if you know you are African or Nigerian, please watch this video with your parents, because I'm talking to them right now. You guys need to stop, just basically stop doing that, and like improve on your parenting skills, because that has like a psychological effect more than you realize. Because like, for you to tell me to go change while I'm in the comfort of my own home, to go change into something, you know, less revealing because you have a male visitor coming around, it's actually really, what's the word? I don't know what word to use, but
yeah, I'm trying to think.
It's like, it's very sick. I don't think people understand. Like please don't do that. And it's just like, I don't know. I really thank God for my life, because I feel like without God, I don't know how I would have been able to like grow and, you know, just heal from like all of this past experience that happened to me. Because I feel like if it wasn't because of that, I would have probably like blamed myself for all the things that happened. I know who to blame. Like I definitely know who I'm blaming for all the stuff that happened to me, and it wasn't my mom. But I feel like I was able to go into this person to understand, you know, everything does happen for a reason, even though it's not what I wanted to happen to me, but it built me to the person I am today. So I want a lot of parents to please work on that, to please be careful who you bring around your kids. And a lot of Africans have this saying where, you know, like a village raises a child. No, you raise your child. God helps you raise your child, not a village, because it's in that same village you have molesters, you have rapists, you have adulterers, you have all those negative things, and they feel that's when people come into your homes and touch your kids, and your kids are traumatized for life. So y'all need to please be careful who you bring around your kids. Like, I have this friend of a friend, and she was saying on Finsta, like when the whole thing was happening, that her mom never allowed her cousins to even come around, and she's always wondering like why, like no one has, you know how you have that close relationship with your cousin and you have sleepovers, like she never had that. And her mom had to tell her that when she was younger, her uncle actually tried to rape her, and that's why she vowed to herself she would never have that, even though it sucks. But it's just like, it's kind of sad that you can't even have a relationship with your family, because there are sick people out there in the world that wants to, you know, arm your kids, or just can't like keep it in their pants. And it's actually really sick that it actually does be people you're close to, your family, your friends, could be anybody. And it's just like,
we have to, like, as a community, just have to normalize believing people when they
always
step
believe
up.
the victim.
Always. Like, there's no like, okay, so like what were you doing, or like
What
did
were
you
wearing? Yeah.
You know, like, did you drink? That's even like much closer to like now. Like, I know we're still on the topic of like, you know, the African community. But like, just normalize believing your kids, like, because 9 times, what are the odds that a 12-year-old or like a 7-year-old would just come up and be like, oh, I was
they don't even know what sex is.
Right. So why would they, like, who wants to put themselves through that? You know. So it's just like, just believe them. No one's trying to ruin no family. Your family already messed up. Like, it's already a fucked up family to the fact that all that is happening. You know. And it's just like, I wish that I had people that, you know, believed me, or people that wanted to be like, oh God, I hear you. I feel like a lot of when people invalidate you a lot, or like when you say something and no one does anything to change it, you just kind of get tired of speaking out. It's like, okay, whatever, like, there's nothing gonna change anyway, I might as well just suck it up. And that's not healthy at all. It eats you up inside. And like, you know, like I'm telling you, like, stuff like this takes like years and years of like, it takes time to heal from it. And like, it sucks that it happens as often as it does. So I would say, like, definitely try to stay away from telling your kids to go put on something different, or like, oh, don't say this, or don't walk by this.
Because like, you need to check that person.
Exactly. If you're having
and the fact that you have that thought in your head, that means that person shouldn't even be in your home in the first place. At all. Like, I remember when I was still back in England with my dad, there was this like family friend, I don't know who, but it was a friend of my dad, and he was visiting and stuff like that. And I remember we were all eating and stuff, and I think I was like 8, 9. And my back was scratching me, so I asked the man if he could scratch my back for me. Then at the end of the night, my dad came into my room. He was like, oh, if you ever do that again, he was basically saying like, why did I ask that man to scratch my back? And he was just sexualizing the whole situation. And back then, like, my mind couldn't grasp why he was mad, and it was just like, it was such a dumb thing to be mad at, because it's just like, why are you thinking in such way? Like, it's just really crazy that they think like that. And it's just like, I can't ask someone to scratch my back. He was like, why couldn't you ask me to do it? And I was just like, I didn't think of it. Like, it's just weird. It's just like things like that. It just makes me realize how messed up the African community is, and just like, just parents in general, especially foreign parents, just how like messed up their thinking is. I don't care if it's their culture. I don't care if that's how they were raised. But you're raising kids in the 21st century. I feel like you should learn and educate yourself to be better parents. Like, the way things were are not how you guys grew up. It's not how we grew up. So it's just like, those type of thinking really can destroy a person. And you're about to say something.
Yeah, I think that they also know that sometimes they know that their kids that come up to them aren't lying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not something, an easy conversation that it's not a conversation they want to ever have.
Yeah.
And it's not something that they would ever want to acknowledge.
Because it doubts their
parenting. Yeah. They think that they failed somewhere
and they
or
have.
some kind. Right.
And most of them
I'm not
have.
sugarcoating it. Yep.